What's good, people? So if you are a web developer and you want to help build the next generation of applications for the internet, welcome. You're ready to take the next step. Just to let you know, my perspective here is not one of a person that is working full-time in Web3. I've never actually been hired by a Web3 company, but two of my best friends currently work in Web3, one at Jet Protocol in Solana and the other at Station. So I've gotten an opportunity to watch them closely and see what living and working in that space looks like. I will also be using my personal experience as an investor in some early projects and contributing into DAOs and just being around the Web3 space. So let's break it down. There are different parts of this. So the first thing is, what are the skills needed? And we're gonna talk in detail about this, mostly when it related to JavaScript and smart contracts. The second is the work lifestyle in Web3, the startup vibe, the remote lifestyle, and the very fast-paced environment. The next bit is traveling, yes, in real life events and meetups with people. The next one is pay, and this one is huge. Everyone wants to get paid for their time. So this looks like crypto or fiat currency. The next bit is community, which is Twitter, Discord, every other online thing, and also in-person relationships you end up building. And then the next thing I'm gonna talk about is the vibes. So the freedom to contribute because of the open source nature of Web3. And then the last piece would be network, and just talking about how I've personally met unreal thinkers in this space, and I'm excited to dive deeper. So to break open the skills portion, you need to understand that how Web3 or web applications are built. From how users interact with the front end to how you're collecting and updating information on the blockchain. Users are typically managed by wallets, which is kind of different from the authentication in Web2. You're gonna notice that identity is very, very interesting because identity is tied to wallet versus your actual email or your name or your social security number and all those other information. So you see authentication and user profiles in Web3 are a bit different. And also, I've mostly seen JavaScript and frameworks like React and Next.js being used to build these applications. Next, the most popular smart contract languages are Solidity for Ethereum, and Rust is now getting more popular because of Solana. So now to the next bit, which is the work lifestyle. Look, most of the Web3 companies operate like startups, very, very fast paced, a decent amount of independence, and not as much hand holding as you would see in bigger tech companies, because the entire space is very, very young and we are all venturing into something new and we're all trying to figure it out. If you love uncertainty, this space is for you. You will be able to explore as much as you want from your curiosity, and people will encourage you to do that. This space is looking for innovative thinkers and builders, and if that's you, perfect. The other part is you will be working remotely because of how the world is currently set up. Plus, many Web3 companies are global networks, so your team could really be anywhere in the world. Next bit we're gonna talk about is traveling, probably my favorite part of this space, because you're going from your computer and phone screen to in real life events. If you're working in this space, there will be a lot of events year round in many parts of the world where you can go and meet these people that you're working with online. If it works for your budget, this is something that will expose you to a worldwide network in person. Solana right now is currently running hacker houses with free food, electricity, computers to use, and fun after parties where you get to hang out with people that are working in the space. I've personally been to New York and Miami because of hacker houses so far, and it's been a lot of fun. Traveling is one thing, but traveling to meet people that you're working with and they welcome you because they feel like you're part of, something bigger like they are, which is Web3. It's literally like a cult. Once you're in, you're in. So the next part I'm gonna talk about is the pay. And this is probably what you wanna hear about the most because you're working for your time. Pay really depends on which company you're at. If you're at a Web3 company that is more established, then your pay could range higher. If you're at a brand new Web3 company that's just starting to get funding and investments, then a pay might look a little bit more different. Regardless of that, the high-end jobs range from anywhere from 100K to up. And when I say up, I mean up. You could choose to get paid in crypto or fiat, or you could also get paid in stablecoins, which is relatively the same, but it's really interesting because you can get paid very differently than you could in any other space. The next one I'm going to talk about is community, and this is by far the reason I am in Web3. The community is unreal. When I said you travel and people welcome you, I really, really mean it. Obviously, you meet people you don't like, and you also meet people that you do like. Well, that's with anything in life. But the people that you vibe with eventually become family because you work with them, you play with them, you invest in JPEGs with them, you have fun with them, right? And unlike any other space I've seen, this community is huge, relaxed. We're all gonna make it vibes. It is super motivating, at least for me. The culture feels very young sometimes because of how free people are. Not saying age-wise, but it just feels more young in terms of the energy and the feeling that people bring, because a lot of people feel like they can bring their true self to the space because there's not a lot of limitation, and people feel free to be themselves. At least in my experience, that's what I've seen. Next piece I'm going to talk about is the vibes. Yes, the open source nature of this space is real. You can contribute to any project you really want to. There is always a role you can play, even if it's not a core product role. Many projects are open sourced as well, so you can literally go on GitHub, find a repository, make a pull request, and you can get a job if your work speaks for itself. You could be a serial contributor as well. You can go from one organization to the next and just contribute work and get paid for it, possibly. I have a friend that builds a new project every other week for different teams because he's just a cracked developer and he's just doing his thing. It's a very, very freelance friendly space. The next bit I'm gonna talk about is network. Yes, again, the network here is unreal. Especially when you go to events in person, it's a game changer because you get to see people that are truly building this ecosystem, some of the biggest projects in this space, and they are real people. You get to interact with them. Like, wow, it's like you're building this multi-billion-dollar ecosystem, and you just get to peek into their head and see what they're thinking, what their vision looks like, and get more than you would if you were to be researching online. You can actually make real connections with people, and it's just a game changer. So now, one last thing I want to talk about as well is imposter syndrome. Yes, this is real in any space you're going to be in. I've felt imposter syndrome a lot in different spaces, when I worked at Microsoft, when I hopped into Web3, even when I went to college. So like, this is something that is going to follow you a lot, especially when you're trying to enter a new space that you're not familiar with. When I started going to events in person, especially this is normal, you're not gonna get what a lot of people are talking about. Till today, I don't get half the things people are talking about, but that's what it is. This is Web3. The space is very young and there is a lot going on. We are literally building the next generation of the internet. So just remember, you're not required to know everything that everyone is talking about. The most important thing is to be curious and be willing to learn from people, new ideas. Trust me, it gets easier. There's a lot going on and it's easier said than done, but don't be intimidated by people. If people ask what you do, which is the #1 popular question you're going to get if you go anywhere in Web3, just be honest. If you're still learning, say you're still learning. If you're working on some projects, mention the projects. There's no shame in whatever you're doing. In fact, the best position to be in is learning and curious, and because you will get all of the alpha, which is information about exciting upstarting projects. Just keep your ears peeled. So now, the final thing is, if you're new to Web3 and you are curious what type of resources you can use to jumpstart your career in this space, there are a lot of resources like BuildSpace, OpenQuest, Figment, where you can learn a lot about web applications, how they're going to be built. I will put links in the description. These websites will basically get you jump started with projects. Like, they'll show you how to build an NFT minting website where you can connect your wallet and you can mint an NFT, for example, or you can start a DAO, or you can also launch a domain website where you can mint domains. So like the .coms in the past, but instead in this space it's like .dao, .sol, .eth, and I'm sure you've heard about some of these go around. Now, I know I just said a whole lot, so remember, this space is very young and there is a lot of opportunity here, but there is also a lot of risk. This, for me, has been the most fun I've had in any other space that I've been in. I connect better with people. I really enjoy the projects that I'm working on and I give my attention to. I feel most alive when I'm around the Web3 space, and I get a lot of alpha of how to invest my money and my time. So it's a lot of wins, a lot of losses too, but the hopes is the wins outweighs the losses. If you're interested in this space, comment and let me know why you're interested and what you are most excited for, what you've heard about, what you know, what you don't know, what you're curious about. We're all gonna make it. Remember that. We are building for ourselves, but we are also building for the next generation. So let's get it. Anyway, it was your boy Elijah. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're curious about anything in Web3 and you have questions, let me know down in the comment section. I'm happy to answer any questions to my knowledge. Anyway, again, it was your boy Elijah. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you smash the like button, because I will continue to bring videos like this to your feed, and you want to make sure you follow and subscribe to check it out. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Don't speak to no one but the facts to the masses. Pouring out the deuce in an all black outfit.